So kind of give it a little hole to sit in while you get going. And this is a kind of a two-step process where you kind of call it burn in. You're not going to start your fire right off the bat. What you want to do is just start getting the hole, getting this thing warmed up. And then what you'll do is you'll create this notch into the hole once you get it started. Because what that does is when you're spinning this, creating that really hot dust, it gives it a place to fall out and collect. And that's what forms your ember. So that's the tricky part. You carve too much of a notch into this thing and then the spindle goes, it just flies right out. Not enough of a notch and it won't collect any dust. You kind of want, if you're going to draw a V on the top of it, you don't want it to come quite to the exact center. But you want that point of that V to meet just a little bit on the outside of exact center if you're carving that notch. So let's see if I can do this and show you guys how it's done. And then a piece of bark, once you get your notch to collect the ember on, is you'll take that and lift your ember up and dump it into your bird's nest and then blow on your bird's nest until it catches fire. So I'll try and just do the burn in to start with. Let's see if I see how graceful I am here. This might need to be loosened up. What you want to do is kind of get positioned, and ideally, if you really are in a survival situation, you do not want to put your snowy foot on your fireboard because this might not work the first time and you got to work your way down your board and you'll get it nice and wet. So just try not to, you could put another piece of wood over it or what have you. You can use a straight piece or straighter piece if you have to. This is a piece of Russian olive. It does not need to be peeled and look all fancy. You just basically have to have a stick that you can tie a piece of paracord to that's gonna stay put. This is just a slip knot at the top. I put a little notch at the top so it won't slide off. Kind of the same thing at the bottom. And then through experience I've learned you do not need this bowstring tight because it's got a loop around your spindle. You've got to get your spindle in this part. So if you string it really tight, it's not going to be a pain in the butt to get going. This is just paracord too, but with the inside pulled out. Oh. All those little white threads are pulled out, so it flattens this cord a little bit better into a tube that'll flatten down. So then just kind of create a little handle for myself here. And I think I'll tuck that in. So basically you just don't want this to come apart. Okay. And let's see, that might have been too tight. Let's see if I can do it anyway. Yeah, I think it might be too tight. Let's see. So the spindle, this should be a longer spindle because I'm going to have to bend down pretty far. This spindle and this fireboard right here I actually took out of a piece of aspen when I was up here earlier. So this is aspen from over there, carved down to get into the center of a piece of that, and just kind of, it was only this thick, and just carved down till it's kind of flat. And that works pretty good. But the other thing you're going to need with the bow drill is you need, I can't remember what they call it, a pressure block or whatever. So I'm using a piece of, this actually is fatwood. It has a lot of pitch to it from pine because it serves two purposes. I can use it as a spindle block, and I can cut apart pieces of it to use to start the fire. So
it's just a piece of old rotten pine? Is that what you said?
Yeah, basically it's really rich in sap so that it does create. You want no friction at the top, lots of friction at the bottom, so you can even spit in this, chew up grass, whatever, put it in the top so that the top doesn't have friction at all if you can help it. But the bottom you want nice and wide. So let's see here. Yeah, definitely need a longer spindle. I should put my foot on there first. You know what? If this doesn't work, then it might not go again. Okay. Stay. And just be patient with yourself. It's going to take a while to heat up. The nice thing about the bow is just steady strokes. It's nice and fast. It'll wear itself together and start warming up. Did we get one? I think we got one, guys. Okay. We'll give it a second. They're fragile. So we'll let it. I might let that even get a little bit bigger. And don't go poof. Okay, let's try that. And now, really carefully transfer your ember into your bird's nest.